They spotted the skyline grow dim, countless vessels nearing. What they uttered afterwards stunned all present. A single fleet commander murmured a phrase regarding their gravest error. His complexion turned ashen, yet a different leader cut him off. He carried alternate updates. The sovereign's dispatch reached at the worst possible moment. Next, somebody spotted the follow-up surge. It tripled in scale. A certain official voiced 5 terms that closed the argument. What they expressed following that has been examined for generations, and it demonstrated they foresaw precisely the impending doom. The instant of awareness. June 6, 1944. The chamber hung quiet. Japanese war chiefs remained immobile. They examined dispatches from Europe. The United States had achieved the unimaginable. Countless vessels emerged along the French shoreline, exceeding any presumed count. Fleet Admiral Yamamoto's direst forecast was materializing. Yet he no longer lived to witness it. The officials in Tokyo held knowledge hidden from the globe. They had performed an assessment ages prior. An assessment concerning United States strength. A single leader extended for a smoke with quivering fingers. His associates observed. They each comprehended the implications for Japan, yet what they vocalized in that space, it remained concealed for generations. The phrases proved too perilous to disclose since those phrases unveiled their deepest dread, a dread now turning tangible. The foretelling. 3 years before, Fleet Admiral Yamamoto expressed something eerie. He cautioned the Japanese authorities against striking the United States. His phrases were exact. I can rampage freely for 6 months, perhaps 12. Then he added the crucial segment. Beyond that, I hold zero assurance. The chiefs disregarded him. They deemed him overly cautious. Pearl Harbor occurred regardless. Presently, observing the D-Day assault progress, those identical chiefs recalled. Each term Yamamoto spoke was unfolding. The United States delivered 150,000 soldiers in a single day. Japan's whole surviving armada totaled perhaps 50 crafts. A single official retrieved Yamamoto's initial document. The sheets showed where from repeated views. He indicated one line. That line anticipated the precise circumstance they encountered, term by term. Yet another document existed, one far more unsettling. The manufacturing terror. General Tojo, positioned by the pane. He clutched a sheet. Spy dispatches from the United States. The figures defied logic. The United States constructed 1 aircraft carrier monthly. Japan required years for one. The United States generated more aircraft weekly than Japan produced monthly. Their plants operated round the clock, 3 rotations, ceaseless output. Yet the harshest figure involved the crafts at D-Day. Over 5,000 boats traversed the English Channel. Japan's whole surviving armada totaled perhaps 50 crafts. Tojo eventually addressed them. His tone remained soft. We roused a dormant colossus. The chamber held its silence. All recognized Yamamoto had voiced those precise terms post-Pearl Harbor. If he truly voiced them, or otherwise held no relevance now, the analogy had become fact. And another detail lurked in that spy document. A detail concerning the forthcoming events. The sovereign's inquiry. Emperor Hirohito summoned a gathering. This proved atypical. The emperor seldom addressed armed issues outright. The supreme command proceeded to the residence. They carried charts and dispatches. They offered no positive updates. Hirohito posed a lone, straightforward query. If the United States can assault Europe using this might, what might they unleash upon Japan? No one responded. Initially, the computations terrified. Japan sat nearer to United States outposts than France did. The United States could unleash even greater might in the Pacific. A single fleet commander eventually responded. Your Highness, they will lack need to assault us. The emperor inclined nearer. This proved unforeseen. Clarify. The fleet commander's clarification would expose Japan's true tactical horror, the element robbing them of rest. Yet prior to his completion, an assistant arrived, bearing critical updates from the Pacific. The 5 terms. The assistant's fingers shook. He gripped a translated dispatch from their units in the Philippines. The Americans are coming back. 5 terms. That summed it up. General Yamashita scanned it doubly. He grasped its significance. MacArthur fulfilled his vow. He claimed he would reclaim the Philippines. Now he executed it. Yet this extended beyond the Philippines. If the United States recaptured those lands, they would reach striking distance of Japan, near enough for routine assaults. The Supreme Command examined their charts once more. The facts shone evident. Germany crumbled in the west. That signified all United States strength would pivot toward Japan. No fragmented units, no scattered focus. Merely complete United States manufacturing force directed at one objective. A single official shut his gaze. We cannot triumph here. At last, somebody articulated what all pondered, yet articulating it aloud implied another action must follow. The concealed dialogue. Deep into that evening, a tinier assembly convened. Solely the highest-ranking leaders, no helpers, no logs. They debated something prohibited: armistice conditions, capitulation choices, methods to conclude the conflict. Yet a huge obstacle loomed. Japanese armed tradition forbade capitulation. The disgrace ranked worse than demise, and the United States demanded absolute capitulation. That implied the emperor could face removal, perhaps prosecution as an offender. Japan rejected that. Thus, they stayed ensnared. They lacked ability to prevail in the conflict. They lacked ability to terminate the conflict. All feasible was postponing the unavoidable. A single leader proposed an alternate tactic, something frantic. We render assaults so expensive that the United States agrees to bargained armistice. The rest affirmed gradually. It represented their sole remaining choice. Yet none knew what the United States constructed in the New Mexico wasteland. A device that would render all their schemes utterly pointless. The ultimate awareness. Summer of 1945. The circumstances proved desperate. Germany had capitulated in May. Japan now confronted the United States, Britain, and the Soviet Union solo. The Supreme Command assembled anew. The identical chamber, the identical charts, altered conditions. United States aircraft struck Japanese metropolises nightly. Incendiary assaults razed whole districts. Tokyo blazed. Osaka blazed. Safety vanished everywhere. The war chiefs still desired combat. They schemed for Operation Downfall, the United States assault on Japan proper. They projected it would claim millions, Japanese and United States, yet it would safeguard Japan's dignity, or so they convinced themselves. Then, on August 6th, all transformed. One explosive, one metropolis. Hiroshima evaporated in a burst of brilliance. 3 days afterward, Nagasaki ensued. The Supreme Command ultimately comprehended dignity held no place in obliteration. What they expressed in their concluding assembly would decide if Japan endured whatsoever. The phrases that concluded it. August 14, 1945, the concluding assembly. Emperor Hirohito rendered the verdict personally. The war chiefs failed to concur. Half favored capitulation, half favored battling to the final individual. The impasse proved total. Hirohito addressed in official royal tongue. The conflict circumstances have not inevitably progressed to Japan's benefit. It ranked as history's most restrained declaration. Japan had forfeited all. Yet the emperor's phrases permitted all to preserve honor. Then he added the crucial segment, "We must endure the unendurable." Those phrases terminated World War II in the Pacific. Japan would capitulate absolutely. The war chiefs who observed D-Day 3 years before had proven correct. Yamamoto had proven correct. The United States manufacturing strength proved invincible. The phrases they spoke in that initial assembly materialized. Each forecast, each dread, each computation. They recognized from the instant they spotted those crafts at Normandy, Japan's conflict was already lost.